Alright people, so I'm here with your WrestleMania 32 review, and biggest night of the year for wrestling fans, right? And I thought this, was a great fucking show. I thought it was a really good show, so I'm not gonna spend time bullshitting around here. Let's just get right into the review. So we have Zack Ryder winning the ladder. Oh, by the way, I didn't watch the pre-show. I got home like right at 7 o'clock, a few minutes after, so I got home just in time to watch the main show. And, one of my main critiques in my predictions video, I guess I am bullshitting around here. So one of my main critiques in my predictions was I thought WrestleMania might not be good because there's a lot of matches like Kalisto versus Ryback, the Usos versus the Dudleys. And they put those matches on the pre-show, which was really good. And in the main show, they left room for matches that were mostly really good. So here we go. We have Zack Ryder winning the IC title there in the ladder match. I thought this was a great fucking match. A lot of great moments. A lot of good hardcore moments, with the ladders and shit. And you also have Ryder winning there, which was, I thought it was cool, to see somebody like Zack Ryder, a guy who used to be, he was U.S. champion, then he became worse than a jobber. He just disappeared for like 2 years, and now he finally won the title, which was kind of a feel-good moment there, and he hugs his dad, which was very cool to see that happen, and you feel good for the guy. He's a guy who, he's not like a great fucking wrestler or anything like that, but he's kind of a grassroots guy. He's kind of like Donald Trump or Ron Paul, I guess, in the sense that he made his, he kind of started with that internet show and shit and became popular like a grassroots kind of guy almost. And it was just great to see him win. I guess, it's pretty cool to see him win. So I'm going to give this match 4 out of 5 stars. A lot of, very good moments in this match. So then we get Jericho defeating AJ Styles in another good match here. This was cool from WWE. You have, to start off the show, a good match with ladders, a good hardcore extreme match, and then they flip it around and you get a good technical wrestling match. So that was cool on WWE's part there. You got, the both ends of the spectrum there. So yeah, this was a good match, good technical wrestling, good reversals and shit. And these are two people who definitely know what the fuck they're doing in the ring. You take this match here, smooth, very technically sound, and then you compare it to a Roman Reigns match where he's doing jumping punches and spears and like 2 other moves, and you could see a fucking clear difference. It's ridiculous. But yeah, this was a good match. I'm gonna give it 3.75 out of 5 stars. And Jericho wins. I didn't expect Jericho to win, but I think it's okay because they're both talented wrestlers. So that, you could argue, oh, Jericho should be passing the torch along. I would have liked to see Styles win because I think he has more potential here in WWE than Jericho does. But I can't criticize that too much because it was still a good match, and I don't think it's that huge a deal here. Then we have the League of Nations defeating the New Day. The New Day enters out of a cereal box, which was cool. I heard they were going to enter from unicorns, which I thought would have been cooler. It's like, all you got to do is fucking put a fucking unicorn thing on a horse, and that's all you got to do. Put a unicorn thing on a white horse. Maybe you could have some special effects, have him shit a rainbow out of his ass or some shit like that. No, I'm just kidding, but no, seriously, it would have been cool to see him enter on unicorns, but that didn't happen. But still thought the entrance was pretty cool there. So, but the match I thought was boring. Just not that great a match. Pretty fucking boring. Typical tag team match here. A typical 6-man tag match. In this case, 7-man, but. Like I said, 6-man tag matches in WWE usually always are terrible. So yeah, this was pretty terrible here, and the New Day loses. Like, why does the New Day lose? Why would they lose when they're clearly the more popular tag team? More people like them. Nobody likes the League of Jobbers. Like, why have the New Day lose? And why wasn't this match for the tag team titles? Like, what the fuck? Like, this is fucking WrestleMania. Like, why? I thought the titles would be on the line. Why aren't the titles on the line? Very confusing there. So, yeah, I thought this was a pretty bad match there. Like I said, 1.25 out of 5 stars. But then after the match, we have Shawn Michaels, Mick Foley, and Stone Cold Steve Austin returning to kick the New Day's ass, which was fucking awesome. I mean, you had, Shawn Michaels looking great. It looks like he could still go out there and put on a 30-minute match. Same thing with Steve Austin. He looks like he's in very good shape. And even Mick Foley, from all the bumps and bruises he's taken, falling off the Hell in the Cell. I mean, you might expect him to, at least he could fucking still walk and function, and even, beat up a guy there in the ring. So, it's very, very awesome to see those 3 legends out there beating up the League of Jobbers. Then you have Xavier Woods trying to dance with Steve Austin, and he gives him the stunner, which was pretty funny and cool. So, all in all, great fucking thing there they did with Steve Austin, Foley, and Michaels. And like when Michaels went to super kick, I forget who he super kicked, but like it looked great. It looked fucking great. It looked like Dolph Ziggler was doing it. It still looks great. Still in great shape. So that was fucking awesome to see that there at the end there with the legends. Then we have Brock Lesnar defeating Dean Ambrose. Just a fucking mediocre match. I mean, you had some suplexes, you had some chair shots, you had some kendo sticks, but I mean, overall, not too many good moments. Kind of ordinary match, nothing out of the ordinary, nothing unusual, nothing really unique. Brock wins as expected, so there was no swerves, nothing really. It's kind of what I thought it would be. And, I mean, I wanted Brock to win, because I didn't think he should lose to somebody like Dean Ambrose. But the point I'm trying to make was there was no swerves, there was nothing unusual. It was just an ordinary fucking match. So, wasn't really too thrilled with this one. So I'm going to give it 1.75 out of 5 stars. Thought Brock could have been used a little bit more effectively on this pay-per-view. This just seemed like a typical match. I mean, I thought he should have been used better. Then we have Charlotte defeating Sasha and Becky for the women's. Oh, sorry guys, I was being politically incorrect by saying divas there. Sorry guys, don't. I hope I don't get unsubscribed and 2,000 dislikes on this video for saying divas. I guess they decide to name it the women's title now because it's politically incorrect to call them divas, even though we have a show named Total Divas. Why they called it, why they are calling it the Women's Championship now, is fucking beyond me. Like, why? What's the point of changing it to that? I don't get it. I don't get it at all. But the match, putting all that nonsense aside, why change it? Just no sense to me. But putting all that nonsense aside, as I said, the match was good. You had some good spots here. You had Flair getting involved. You had Sasha doing like a little somersault move through the top and middle rope there to the outside. You had a good match here, a good fucking match. So, yeah, and surprisingly too, finally a good Divas match. Yes, finally a good fucking Divas match. So I gotta give them credit here where credit's due. They did put on a good match. So I'm gonna give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. Very, very awesome. Not awesome, but very good match here. And maybe not even very. The point is, quality fucking match. Okay, I don't want to overrate it or anything like that. But yeah, like I said, 3.5 out of 5 stars. Definitely a quality match. Then we have Undertaker defeating Shane McMahon. And holy shit, what a great match. What an awesome match. I mean, of course, the one spot that comes to mind is Shane McMahon. 46-year-old Shane McMahon jumping off the Hell in the Cell through the table. The table just explodes. Shit goes everywhere. Holy shit, what a amazing spot that I will remember probably forever. I mean, that was just awesome to see him, giving his all there, and just wow, what an amazing sight to see. And then not only that though, you had, both of the men going through the cage there. Both of them go through the announce table. It was just a really good match. just a fucking great match. What more can you ask for? Stipulations, Hell in a Cell, Taker's career on the line, the fate of the company on the line, Shane jumping out the top of the cell, some other good moments. Fucking hell, that was just a great match. So, gotta give that one 5 out of 5 stars. That was just fucking awesome. Then we have the Andre the Giant Battle Royale, and you have Shaq returning, or not returning, but just making a surprise appearance, which I thought was kind of cool. Pretty random and oddly, random and the last person I would expect to come out there. But I thought it was pretty cool to see Shaq out there. You had DDP out there too, which was cool. So, but on the other end of it, there were a lot of jobbers in this match. People who aren't even on Raw half the time. But, I thought it was still, pretty cool because they had Shaq and DDP out there. So overall, I thought it was okay. I'm going to give it 2.5 out of 5 stars. Then you have Baron Corbin winning. Like, what? This guy out of NXT just comes in. And you notice people are chanting NXT, NXT when he wins. And they like him because he's an NXT guy. See, that's what they do. Some of these fans do. They just like people from NXT. And they think, oh, just because they're from NXT, they're great. But notice how they're chanting NXT and not Baron Corbin. That probably means that they either don't know who he is, don't know his talent level, and they're just chanting or just cheering for him because he's from NXT. I don't think he's that good. I haven't seen anything good out of him. He looks like a dick from what I've seen, and he hasn't shown me that he's got any talent really. So this was just just a pretty the match was not too good, but you did have, like I said, DDP and Shaq coming out there, so that did make it kind of worthwhile, I guess. But pretty disappointing to see just Baron Corbin coming out of nowhere and fucking winning like that. There were other people who were deserving of this, but whatever. Then you have The Rock coming out to cut a promo. Oh, and the people who are deserving of it. I'm trying to think of people, but they're all fucking hurt. Like Neville, Cesaro. But they're all hurt, but whatever, I think they could have found a better person to give it to than fucking Neville, Neville, or than Baron Corbin. I don't know, it just doesn't seem like a guy who should have got it. I don't know who should have got it, but I don't think it should have been Baron Corbin. Then we have The Rock coming out to cut a promo. Very cool to see The Rock there, he has a fucking flamethrower, which I thought was pretty cool, lights up his name there. And then he's cutting his promo there. And then fucking Bray Wyatt comes out, the Jobber family comes out, and I'm thinking, like, why? Why is the Jobber family out here, interrupting The Rock? Like, it just didn't make any sense. Like, again, same thing with them and The Undertaker. Why are the jobbers, why are a bunch of jobbers fighting The Undertaker? Same thing, why are a bunch of jobbers confronting The Rock? It's like somebody higher up on the card should be confronting The Rock, not the Jobber family. The people like The Rock and The Undertaker shouldn't be involved with jobbers. They decide to have a match between The Rock and Eric Rowan. Rock wins in like 6 seconds, so then they are going to beat him up, and then Cena comes out. And I bet a lot of people are going to say, oh, Cena's out there, it's shitty, fuck Cena, I didn't like it, I thought it was horrible, and well, the truth is, I thought it was pretty cool to see Cena out there. I thought it was, even though I don't like him, it was cool to see Cena come back and fight there with The Rock. And obviously a lot of other people liked it too, because when he came out, there was a big pop. There was no booing. And even though Cena isn't the greatest, even though he has a fucking horrible gimmick, even though he does act like a 9-year-old, he has way more talent than Roman Reigns. I'm not. Some people, oh, you're sucking Cena's cock. No, I've ranted on Cena so much on this channel. But the fact of the matter is, he does have talent. And he's not like Roman Reigns, where he doesn't have any talent. Cena could put on a great match. He got a good promo when WWE lets him. But the fact of the matter is, Roman Reigns sucks. He has no talent whatsoever. It's not WWE's using him wrongly. It's that he really sucks. So Cena, it was cool to see him back there fighting with The Rock, and that was a really good moment there, and just a this is another great segment there from WWE. Another great WrestleMania moment right there. So, even though they did have the Jobber family out there, you know, I guess it's kind of, they're just using them as tools, or they're using them as, they're just meant to be Cena, the people Cena and Rock beat up. So yeah, it was cool. Very good, very awesome moment there. Then we have your main event, which was not a very awesome moment. The match was slow. The match was boring. The match was just very, very bad. And then you have, so many Roman, not that many, but some Roman Reigns fans saying, "Oh, he's so great. He deserves to be champion." And how can you justify him being champion if he's getting booed by 100,000 people? I mean, you could hear the boos pouring down on him. How pathetic. How pathetic to see this guy. They've put so much time and they've tried every fucking thing to get him over, and they failed. I mean, even Cena gets way more cheers than this guy. I mean, it's so embarrassing to this company, to Vince. I mean, like I said, they put so much time and energy to get this guy over, and I've really never heard somebody, who's supposed to get cheered as much as Reigns, get booed so loudly and so much. Like I said, even Cena doesn't garner the amount of boos this guy gets. I mean, holy shit. He gets booed so much. And what I mean by that is, maybe Cena gets louder boos every once in a while, but if you average it out, Cena gets way more cheers and way less boos than Reigns gets if you average it out. Because there's almost nobody cheering Reigns ever. At least Cena is getting some cheers. And like I said, so no way Reigns deserves to be champion. Because he doesn't get any cheers. He sucks. They don't even trust him to cut a promo longer than 2 minutes. All he comes out there and says is, "I'm going to kick your ass." And you can believe that. And he sucks. He can't cut a promo. He can't wrestle a good match. And I was just pissed off. Like I said, the match was slow. The match was boring. Just a pretty fucking shitty match, I thought. Yeah, the only good moment really was Reigns spearing Stephanie McMahon. I mean, nothing else that was that good. So I'm going to give this match a 0.5 star out of 5. I mean, just a fucking shitty way to end a good show. Very depressing way to end the show. There was no... This was just what you would expect the main event to be. No swerves, no surprises. Just your typical... I guess you did have one surprise with Roman spearing Stephanie, but what's the one thing you remember? You remember Roman winning the title. Other than the spear to Stephanie, there was still no... Still the same ending result, and no surprises. And seeing Roman win, the thing about it is, the main reason why I'm upset is I saw Roman walk out champion. That's the last image we saw, is a bunch of fireworks going out and Roman Reigns the champion. What a fucking shitty image to see. What a depressing sight to see a guy who's hated among the fans of WWE become champion. I mean, he was getting his ass booed tonight, and he still became champion. I mean, how fucking stupid is this company? But okay, enough with the ranting. The show was still really good. You just still had a lot of great matches. Shane and Undertaker, the IC title match, and other matches were still good matches. So overall, I'm gonna give this show 7.5 out of 10 stars. Quality show. Can't complain. Except that one fucking ending match there with Roman winning. That's the only thing I can really complain about a lot. But other than that, overall the show was still a quality show. So like I said, 7.5 out of 10 stars. So there you go, people. There is your WrestleMania 32 review.